Hello, I'm Kagan McLeod, and I'm listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
I'm sure we have our differences in how we approach the audio, but it sounded good to me.
Well, that's all I need. I'm glad because I've been
all
feeling.
I need is just a little more time to be sure what I feel.
I feel like my nose has been betraying me. Gotta love the musical interludes.
Yes, sir.
Oh crap! Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hurtful.
That's hurtful. Well, we don't try to.
Jack Wagner, dog. Come on, give Jack Wagner his propers.
Whatever. We don't try to be hurtful. We try to inform and reflect.
Listen, Jack Wagner has had a hell of a career. Singer, soap opera star. Come on. Put some respect on his name.
If you say so. And if we say so. Because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 1022. Two.
Oh, it's been a week.
Yeah, and if you don't know already, I'm Vince B.
You are Vince B. They should know already. I am David A. Price.
That is true. And of course, I'm everyone's favorite founder of Disco Hippo Wonderland, Jan's Disco Disco.
Oh, Jesus.
You're not. You're Jason Wood, everybody. Because cheapgraphicnovels.com sponsors us. We're together again. Cheap Graphic Novels brings us together every week under a banner of love for the comics farm. Sequential art, baby. That's where it's at. OGNs, trade paperbacks, omnibus editions, manga, art books, everything. DC's finest. They used to be called Showcase, right? Now they call them DC's finest.
No, well, the Showcase were black and white, like the Essential line.
Black and white, right? Yeah. And Marvel's Epic Collection, and more, and much, much more. All far below retail pricing. They have a Nick and Debt sale. They have the occasional Black Friday sales. And if that wasn't enough, they have specials as well.
Oh, they do. They do have specials like Absolute Wonder Woman Volume 2, As My Mother's Made Me, hardcover for $17.99, trade paperback for $12.99. Trapped in the Maze, Forged by Myth, Wonder Woman faces her greatest test. Absolute Wonder Woman Volume 2, As My Mother's Made Me, continues Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman's bold new vision of Diana of the Mascara. As Diana confronts the horrors of man's world and the truth of her Amazonian legacy, she must choose between rage and compassion, isolation and connection. With supernatural threats erupting across the globe, Diana's journey becomes a battle for identity, justice, and the soul of humanity. Collects issues number 8 through 14. Jim Aparo, Brave and Bold Artist hardcover, $31.96. For a generation of comic book readers, Jim Aparo is considered the greatest Batman artist of them all. Aparo, with his strong dynamic style, well grounded in realism, together with Batman, made a team worthy of the title The Brave and the Bold. But before that team-up book, he made a name for himself on such series as Aquaman, the controversial Spectre, and the mysterious Phantom Stranger. and is considered to be the definitive artist for each. Now, the team of Jim Amash and Eric Nolan Worthington turned the bat signal on the life and work of one of comics' finest. From the time in the world of advertising art at Charlton Comics on Nightshade and the Phantom through the heyday of the 70s and beyond the death of Robin, Apparo's career is finally given the attention it so richly deserves. The book is lavishly illustrated with Apparo's work, including many rare and previously unpublished pieces, includes an introduction by award-winning artist Alan Davis, and a new Apparo cover inked by Mike DiCarlo. And finally, Lost Marvels Volume 3, Savage Tales of the 1980s hardcover for $48.75. For 13 months in the mid-1980s, Marvel assembled some of its strongest artists and writers to tell gritty, harrowing, and darkly humorous adventure stories ranging from gangster noir to historical battlefields to the deadly Old West to post-apocalyptic futures. Unseen for nearly 40 years, here is some of the most shocking work of artists John Severin, John Buscema, Sam Glanzman, Val Mayerick, Ron Wagner, Gray Morrow, Wayne Van Sant, Herb Trimpe, Michael Golden, Joe Jusko, Mary Wilshire, Arthur Soydom, Vincent Waller, Ralph Reese, Bill Ray, and Ken Stacy, and writers Chuck Dixon, Robert Kanigher, Denny O'Neil, Doug Murray, and Archie Goodwin. Stories include Severin and Dixon's By Rail to Vladivostok, Murray and Golden's The Nam, 1967, Glanzman's Of War and Peace, The Trinity, Younggertz's Blood and Guts series, and Trimpe's Sky Warrior series. With a remembrance by Savage Tales editor Larry Hama, Savage Tales of the 1980s reprints all 8 issues of the magazine's run, the first time they have seen print since 1986. They are reproduced in facsimile format, including color covers. 2 of these 3 things are on their way to me, and I'm probably going to end up getting the Apparo book before all is said and done.
You know, I'm a bit miffed that they called it Savage Tales, because that conjures up Conan and fantasy and sword and sorcery and the 8 issues, anything but. But that said, it's a beautiful book. Like, whether or not they cherry picked the scans, it's what they do. That is not question. It's really a beautiful book of work that has not been seen by many, because the sales on that book were not astronomical, like, you know, the Savage Tales magazine, the first run of the Conan-led Savage Tales, and then it went into Savage Sword of Conan, and Khazar was the Savage Tales. But the kudos to Fantagraphics, because the Lost Marvels line is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised that you want that.
Why?
I don't know.
I had a random issue of Savage Tales. I think I picked it up at the newsstand, and yeah, it was a weird magazine, but yeah, no,
it's weird. Yeah,
it is. It's absolutely weird. But no, I thought the first Lost Marvels was entertaining. I like the Shaken book. So yeah, but I am looking forward to this one. Plus, I mean, all 8 issues. I mean, the complete run.
That's it.
Between 2 covers. So I mean, why not?
Right. Why the hell not? Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Just to take it in a different direction. Who is your favorite Batman artist? Because I'm not. I like Apparo, but I don't think he's the best Batman artist ever.
I absolutely have a soft spot for him because of Brave and the Bold, because of Batman and the Outsiders.
Forever. He did it forever. Yeah.
But no, I think I really, really do like Matt Wagner's version of Batman. But it sometimes it varies depending on the story. I mean, as beautiful as Kelly Jones's work is, I'm not a fan of that version because the ears go on forever.
Forever, yeah.
The
big ears.
Yeah, I actually. I mean, if I wish we got more Batman by Don Newton than we did. I mean, I just love Newton to begin with, but his Batman was great.
Solid choice. Yeah. Jason?
Oh, I mean, I guess Mazzucchelli, just because that's my favorite Batman story.
Yeah, you can't
Frank,
go wrong with that.
And Frank, because that's my second favorite Batman story. And no, I'm saying I guess in terms of, and I didn't read I didn't read the ongoings very often. I guess if I were to, of all the people I know did long runs, I always thought Breyfogle looked cool. I liked his work.
Sure.
So
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Say what you will about the man himself, but Neil Adams did incredible.
Oh yeah, he's probably. He would probably be on he'd probably be in most people's top 3 if he did a poll, right?
Most people. Yeah. Hands down, most best Batman arts is Frank Miller.
Yeah, right. Just in terms of it's in terms of importance and memorable. His work is the most iconic Batman work ever. And I say that in the sense of it's certainly the most valuable, right? Frank Miller Batman comic art is literally exponentially more valuable than any other Batman art. And it is right up there with the most valuable comic book art of all time. Full stop. So, and I know that art values aren't necessarily indicative of an answer here, but just in terms of for a guy who didn't really draw that much Batman, he drew the Batman, right? He
did once, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm done," and then he did it again. And
did he? He tried to do it again.
It's a Justice League story. It's not a Batman story.
Right.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's not, but I love it. It's not a Batman story.
The leather bound that I have with that claims to be the complete Frank Miller Batman because it has Year One, Dark Knight Returns, and an earlier story, Santa Claus Wanted Dead or Alive, that Frank had penciled, and I do like Frank's version of it, and I can't believe as I'm going through everybody, who does an outstanding Batman? Fucking Alan Davis.
Yeah, well, he does everything.
That is true. Yeah. You're right. You're not big facts, but yeah.
I don't know how much Infantino you guys read, but obviously he's he's the Silver Age, probably most notable Silver Age Batman.
Dick Dillon did great Batman work.
Dick Sprang.
I'm sure people would say Jim Lee as well. I know we're all collectively not huge fans of things like Hush, but in terms of the collective conscious, I think he would probably be a lot of people's choice as well.
I read it when it came out, and I revisited it recently, but Superman Unchained is basically unreadable.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
What about Poppy Capullo? You think his run will stand the test of time?
Yeah. I think he did some fine work.
I think it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went out again far too long, but I think he, especially once you tread into the murky waters of the events. Mm-hmm. I think his Batman only gets better.
Yeah.
Who
would be the definitive Golden Age? Would it be Dick Sprang? I've read almost none of it, so I can't really speak to.
Sprang is good. Again,
I don't.
I'm not super well versed in Golden Age of Batman.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all looks good to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you put up the cover of Dark Knight Returns where it's just Batman and he's bleeding and he's bent over, and it's like, I'm done. I'm done.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. This is it. I am drinking. I'm boring. I am. I admit it. I'm drinking Double Trouble by Charles X. Charles. Yeah. Again, like I said, once I find something that works, I stick with it. So,
Respect.
yeah.
What you got, Jason?
I'm drinking the old favorite, the Close.
Nice.
Closest to the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yes. Bringing it back. Yeah. Beth is away. We are currently in day 2 of her being away for 2 straight weeks, and
Damn, the house is still standing.
so yeah, so far, and yeah, so I'm drinking the old standby, feeling nostalgic.
Nice. I am having the same Uno I had last week. However, this time, as those on the Slack know, this has been decanted, and it does taste better than it did last week.
Nice, yeah, because you decanted it.
Yep.
It's the key to life.
Even though it's bougie.
It's bougie. It's
Look at you, bougie.
It's hyper bougie. The guy at the liquor store says that the Double Troll punches above his weight class. I'm like, you're talking to somebody who has zero potential for refined palate. Like, I wouldn't know what you were talking about. I will say that the nuts kick in towards the end, where you swallow. But as far as punching above its weight class, whatever. If that's the way you want to define the wine, then go right ahead.
More power to you.
Yeah.
More power to you. Mo better blues.
Yep. Comics.
Yeah, the comics. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
It was one hell of a week.
No, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got a first Issue-O-Rama.
Oh,
We
that's
do.
true.
We do.
Why
Why not?
of varying degrees of enjoyment, for at least for me.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that. Because do I, in order to ask the right questions, do I feel like I got my money's worth? Hell yes. I think that it's far more entertaining than I thought it would be. I think it's written well. It's drawn even better. Whereas I think it was really, really, really good.
To what are you speaking of?
Yeah, I will. I don't move so quickly as I used to. So,
Hey, man, we're here for the journey. It's all good.
what's it called?
Are you talking
Cocaine.
about
Florida
Florida?
Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre.
Yes.
Right. Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre was really good. Do I think it was great? No, I don't. I thought it was fun. What more can you want, right? Like I said, I feel like I was compensated for my investment. After discount, I paid, I don't know, whatever. James Edward Clark does the art, and it looks super beautiful.
Yep.
Like I think it's incredibly well drawn. It was all the right bits of acerbic, revisionist, the humor in it played upon the Reagan era a lot, a lot, and mixed with a little bit of the Trump era, and I thought it was really well done. But it's not the first time, and nor will it be the last, that an animal was mixed with a drug. You know, as soon as they saw that Cocaine Bear made more money than it cost to make the movie, everybody and their brother and their uncle Charlie from Philadelphia made a movie where it was an animal mixed with a drug, whether it was, you know, on top of my head, methigator, cocaine werewolf, crackoon, obviously cocaine bear, meth gator. Like these movies have existed for years. Where I don't think it's a novel concept, but the way it was presented, hey, like I said, it got my money's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, I completely agree with you on the idea that it's not a novel idea per se, but I mean, where are the new ideas? Like fiction's been around, like you know what I mean? Like ultimately everything is derivative in that regard. So I think the title says exactly what you're getting, and I expected it to be exactly what it was from a thematic standpoint, but I thought it was really well executed. Like,
Yeah.
it was. We should also mention it's written by Fred Kennedy,
Yeah,
who
Fred
I
Kennedy.
can't say I had any prior knowledge of. But JEC draws it, of course. Non-new listeners will know that we've been fans of JEC, James Edward Clark, for a long time, ever since Tales 2 with Matt King. So it's great to see him back doing comics again, and this time through Mad Cave. I think his art is astounding. I think his art is like completely distinctive from anything else that's on the comic stands, um, and I think this kind of whacked out motif is absolutely perfect for his aesthetic. I love the matte color palette that he uses with his work.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah, it's like it's so distinct in today's day and age when everything else is so glossy and like hyper polished and hued because of digital coloring. And I just thought it was super fun, man. It was like it was over the top and silly, and the characters were all, like you said, pastiches of
Yeah,
stereotypes. But you had like the Contra dude, and you had the sort of fat, almost like Baron Harkonnen, drug lord, and you got the like you said, the Reagan knockoff, the Nancy. I mean, obviously the first lady is kind of doing this war on drugs
right.
narration throughout the book, and that's
While holding a bottle of wine.
yeah, it's like a Nancy Reagan
Yeah.
send up, and I just loved it. I loved every bit of it. I thought it was like super fun and action packed, and obviously doesn't take itself seriously in any way. Yeah, I thought it was a home run. I really, I genuinely enjoyed it. I mean, you asked the question, is it great? I mean, I'd go so far for me to say it was great because um, I, I feel like I read a lot of mid these days, like just because we read a lot of like issues for the purposes of talking about them on the show, and I feel like more often than not, it's like I feel like more often than not, I'm like, oh, I've read this before, and so while I don't disagree with you that the theme here is not necessarily breaking new ground ever since Cocaine Bear, I mean, to me, this felt very unique in a lot of ways. Again, visually, the fact that I mean, it's fucking hippos, like crazy. I mean, that again, like it's just funny, like it's funny
And
and well
are
executed.
nasty to begin with.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the hippo can fuck you up.
Absolutely.
If
Yeah.
it feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Cocaine
So
or not.
exactly. Yeah. So for me, I thought it was great, man. Like far and away of I don't know how many of these number ones we're going to end up talking about tonight, but for me, like far and away the number one I enjoyed the most that I read this week.
It was good.
What?
It was really good. The If you put a faux weathered texture on your page, you won you over 70% of my enjoyment of it. Like play with the form, play with the aesthetics. The panel layouts are different and varied. I thought the action was incredible. It was a really good comic. Like again, what you want. If you paid $3 for this and this is what you get, that I think you're far ahead of the game. Well, it'll make an astounding hardcover if they actually do publish hardcovers. I thought it was good. Yeah, it was really good.
Where do you weigh in, Dap?
I had fun with it. There were a couple of panels, a couple of the corny jokes that did make me laugh. The art's great, of course. I think these two work well together because based on the body language and expressions and just people's reactions when you see some of the jokes, the word balloons, it's even funnier to a degree for me. But no, it looks great. Everything you guys have said. I did enjoy. I thought at first maybe if the jokes went on, they might kind of just wear on me a little bit. But no, straight on through, it's a lot of fun. I mean we've seen JEC's work, of course, in Tales to Enlighten. So we're not unfamiliar with the work. I'm unfamiliar with Kennedy, which is fine. But as far as this goes, it is very, very entertaining. And even the whole thing with like, why didn't we shoot him when he was jumping in slow motion? Just a little shit like that. Like I got a kick out of the jokes. Boy using dude's body to rappel down the zip line. Yeah, it was a good time. I'm definitely coming back for the second issue. The era it takes place in obviously works. And I think I already know because if I put this title in the banner on the featured image, we're not going to be able to mention another book we're talking about tonight. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to use a panel from this issue for our featured image. And I pretty much had the panel. I knew which one it was going to be when I landed on the page as I was reading it. So I'm like, okay, well, there's this week's featured image sorted. So that's taken care of. And then, I got to give it to him. Even the most random woman, he seems to make look sexy. I
Yes.
ain't mad at it. I absolutely adore his style, his line work. It's and I like we get these aren't pages that the art is full page gutter to gutter or gutter to edge. It looks like an old school comic where you've got the off-white pages, big panels, but you get the whole page layout. So I definitely like the look of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work if it was colored and full page the way modern books are. So I'm getting a kick out of the package. The colors are bright. It's it's absolutely a lot of fun. Everything you guys have said, like I said. So yeah, the flatter is Becca Kinsey, and it's a solid creative team. Like I said, I'll be back for the second issue. These are the kinds of books that I enjoy because it's a break from everything else that we're reading, it's just like I call it a palate cleanser. But yeah, I sat down last night, popped it open, and I was enjoying the ride.
There's another thing I'm going to talk about in a little while, where it's like, do we really need to know that? Like, like the flatter. If he came across a color that he didn't think worked well with the composition, he would kill it in a second. Like,
Yeah,
why do
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah.
Why do we need to know the flatter? But that's neither here nor there. Um, Kennedy, on the other hand, it does seem like whether I've read his stuff before or he does seem to have been around forever.
Oh, really?
No, it's not what I'm saying. What
Oh,
I'm saying is reading his stuff. It seems like, oh, this guy. Wait a minute, I've never read anything from this guy, but it feels like I have, which is not to say that it's boring or repetitive or cribs from someone else's work. It's of a style that works really well for what it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Which is the highest compliment I could pay. Would it work better as a trade paperback or a hardcover? Hell yes, it would. Because even though we get action start to finish, we get bold, dynamic panels. I don't even know how many issues it is, but when we get the whole story in one lump, I'm thinking it'll work better than the single issue format. But it's a gamble. Publishing it all at once is tough. Publishing it in four installments because the attrition rate and people jump on, people jump off. Uh, it's smarter to publish it in single issues than it is to roll the dice on a hardcover. Will I buy it again? Probably, because I'm stupid. Yeah, but yeah, it's worth it. And what's it called again? I'm sorry, I know I have to.
The
It is.
Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre.
Right, Florida.
The
Yep.
Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre.
Right, is really really good. Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Matt
Absolutely.
Cave.
Salute JEC. Keep it up, buddy.
Mad Cave came out of nowhere, and I wanted to poo poo their work because they watched like Flash Gordon, Dick Tracy. Uh, it's easy to say on one hand, oh, Mad Cave, whatever, but they've done right by their properties, which
Yeah,
is saying a lot. You know,
absolutely.
I
It's 4 issues, by the way. The whole thing is 4 issues.
Yeah, I think it'll read better as a collected issue, which does not say that it doesn't read well now, but when you get all four issues, I think you're like, whoa, that was intense and spun my
And
head
he,
around.
he said that they're waiting to hear back from Mad Cave as to whether they want to do a second arc. So
Wow, that's something.
hmm
Look at that. There you go. What else? What other number one did you read?
Who you asking?
Oh, geez.
Jason.
Let's see. What else did I read? Number one. Well, again, to be clear, this was far and away my favorite of the number ones that I read. So let me preface that before I talk about another one. But I think one I know at least Dapper read. I don't know if you read it, Vince, but is Death Fight Forever, published by Image Comics, a upstart company called Image Comics.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting one on a couple levels. Most notably, I was going to order this because it's written artistically. It's an anthology. Each issue is drawn by a different artist, but it's five. It's going to be a 5-issue series, but it's entirely in its entirety. It's written by Andrew MacLean, our good buddy, and it's edited by his lovely wife Erin, and the art is first 2 issues are drawn by Alexis Ziritt. The 3rd issue is drawn by Al Gofa. The 4th issue is drawn by Sam McKenzie, and the 5th is drawn by Erwin Papa. Andrew is doing the writing and the design and the cover, the A cover for the books, and so forth. So definitely outside of one of these people, I'm very much in favor of supporting their work for any purposes. Now, with all that said, the first 2 issues, as I just said, but this one issue that we've read is drawn by Alexis, and Alexis is very talented. No debating that. We've talked about his work over the years. But I guess selfishly, I would have much preferred to see Andrew draw the first issue.
Yep. That's why I didn't touch it.
Right. Well, I know you. Yeah. I mean, you
because I love Andrew. I love Al Gofa. Shut up.
I know.
I think it hurts my heart that I don't get to experience Al Gofa's work, but Alexis Ziritt, no.
No.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Sam McKenzie's work as well. So again, like I think the series as a whole, like I'm going to definitely buy and read the whole thing. But I personally don't think it got off on the best foot for me. Just again, personal aesthetics choosing. But conceptually, I mean, it's an off the wall, action adventure comic. There's an anthropomorphic tiger with a beret. There's 2 brothers that are like the sort of Double Dragon / Contra bros. There's a like a pyramid full of ne'er-do-wells that they have to fight, including a bunch of big-breasted, leather-clad cops with a Z. There's a lot to. I mean, there's a lot of components here that are wild and crazy and feel very indie and very much like are very much in the aesthetic that I think appeals to all of us. So again, like I very much like the concept. I like the design. I guess I just wish that the first 2 of 5 issues weren't Ziritt setting the visual tone. That's all.
Yeah, and I admit it's more a personal choice than it is what's there. What's been rendered, I'm sure it's fine, but I can't support it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you win some, you lose some, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I don't really have anything bad to say about it, especially because I want to support Andrew. But it, wasn't like I didn't know when I opened up the book if it was going to be like each of them contributing like a few pages, like a true anthology. I didn't know until I got through this issue that each issue is going to be drawn by an artist and so forth.
Same.
So, and again, like that can work fine, right? Like, I mean, certainly there are series that do that work fine. But it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Just process, and so but I think it's an interesting also thing because we've seen a lot of writer artists that we enjoy who eventually start writing comics on top of their own work that they draw, and there's reasons for that. Most importantly, that that unless you're Dan Moore or Hayden Sherman, you can only draw one issue a month at the most, but you can write 4, 5, 6 comics at a time. And so, I mean, I'm happy for Andrew that he's branching off in that, because I believe this is the first thing he's ever written for someone else to draw. So I'm sure that was a big step for him, and obviously that's good. And it's not coming at the expense of his own work, because we're getting his triumphant return, to being a comics illustrator here in a month or two as well, with Headlopper returning. Yeah, it comes out in April. So
this month. Yeah, it's in the
April 22nd. So is when the issue comes out. But yeah, so great that Andrew's back on the scene. I've always thought he's super talented, and he's a good dude, good human being as well. So I'm here for it, man. I'm gonna probably come back and gush about the Gofa issue and gush about the Mackenzie issue, and then we'll see how it finishes up with Papa.
Yeah, Al Gofa. Oh, he's so good. There's more.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I didn't necessarily love this. It was. I dig the video game aspect of it, but it wasn't visually. It wasn't. It wasn't connecting with me. So yeah, like you, I'll be back for the Gofa issue. Check that out. But between the colors and it because it wasn't something I didn't think I'd be into. I saw it was on your list, so I went to the image reviews and snagged it. But yeah, I this was one of those times where if I just stuck with my gut, I'd have been fine. So I dabbled with it, wasn't all that thrilled, and I'll be back for Gofa.
Yeah, well, I won't even look at the Gofa, because if I look at it, I'm gonna want it, and you know how we are. You're right. Like issue 3.
Yep.
You don't have the first two and the last
two. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your problem?
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, it does exist, and it won't exist.
There you go.
Yeah, but again, it's almost debilitating. Where I love the guy's work, but yeah, I pretend that he's elsewhere.
I get it.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. They probably David that brought up MJ Bright
Mark
recently.
Bright?
Yeah.
I mean, I love talking about Doc Bright whenever I can.
I was going to say, he's talked about it's definitely a subject that doesn't take much for him to bring him up.
Yeah, I mean, Paramount Iron Fist, Green Lantern. I mean, he's somebody who I feel left us way too early. But yeah, that's me.
I think he's not dead.
Yes, he is.
He is.
He is. The Center Holds was something that he worked on 3 years ago, or it was finished. It wasn't. He pretty much had it completed. His part completed a few years ago because he died in 2024.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
I was gonna say he died March of 24. Yeah,
it makes sense.
So I don't know if the remaining issues of the Center Holds are. I don't know if he did all 4 issues or if he just did the first issue and then we're getting other artists for the remaining issues.
Right. Because I believe it's Madgave that is publishing his work. I just saw it. But my brother-in-law
Yeah.
brought him up recently.
No shit.
And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I remember Mark Bright was amazing. What is he working on now? And I'm like, I haven't seen Mark Bright in years. There's a reason, because he's dead. Yeah, and I did a search, and it came up the Center Holds
From
and Boom. Okay. Now I know why. No, I know.
And I love that. The conceptual continuity here. The variant covers for the first issue of the Center Holds. The variants are by Carrie Randolph, Chuck Batten, Jamal Igle,
Jesus.
who all have a certain skin tone in Tom. So I think that and of course during February. But yeah, this is I haven't read the first issue yet, and I'm not trying to step on your dick. It's written by Larry Hama, but yeah, it's I can't wait to sit down with it. I saw his name attached to it, and I was just like, holy crap, I got it. Yeah, it was a no brainer. Even if it was just a one shot, if this is the only issue of this I read, but the fact that posthumously we have a Mark Bright book issue, I'm over the moon.
Over the moon. Only you would say that. And it would sound like it's supposed to be. Like, happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You're over the moon. You're elated. And that's what an issue of a comic book can do that. Like, it can't be bad.
You're right.
It can't be. Prepare for the wall of text.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because that's what you get. This is a DIY, do-it-yourself project to the extreme. It's basically 106 pages. 107, 108. Read off on Xerox machine and tied together, not even stapled, but mind you, tied together with a string.
Good Lord.
So it's super DIY, but it's very, very dollar because it is the comics blogger number 15, and you get 100 plus pages for $8. Where are you going?
Wow.
like that's crazy to me. But like the Bubbles special issue, which focused on BubblesCon 2, this focuses on DDC, Destination DealersCon, which Frank Santoro put on because he was a little bit disillusioned, I guess, with the state of the convention scene. I have to agree with them. Comic book cons, by and large, for the most part, focus on more than comics. They have to get people into the door somehow. So they focus on, with superhero films or you name it. This is strictly comics. And the list of contributors, where the editor, Thomas J. Campbell, and he gives an email address. North Carolina, of course. He gives in the credits page. It's astounding. Where he spent $100. That was his budget. $100 in English. All the books he took home for $100. Like, why do we care? Well, we do, right? And you look at the books that he scored for $100, and it's like, what? You got there for $100. Black Hood number 3, number 2, 2001 Space Odyssey number 2, Favorite Dreams, Ray Corbin, um, Legends of the Dark Knight, A Flyer 1-3 by Howard Chaykin and some guy named Cocaine. Whatever. Cold Heat Special, The Bakers, Jack Kirby's Star Warriors by Tom Sholey, Jim Rugg at Pittsburgh Comic Shops, The Art of Lale Westfin. It's amazing the stuff that he procured the editor for $100. But like the Bubbles con issue, he interviewed people that were at the convention, speakers at the convention. So you get a interview with Mike Siemens, Chris Pitzer, Brian Baines of Bubbles magazine,
Yeah.
Cameron Arthur, Audra Stang, Nate McDonough, John Kelly, Jim Rugg, Tom Sholey, Kevin Huizinga, Sarah Lawton, Sammy Hargam, Frank Santoro, and Frank put this con together to honor the memory of Bill Beichel. Now, Bill had profound interest on not only his commercial, his style of art, and the way he approaches the meaning of sequential illustration, but it spilled over into his personal life. Like Bill influenced the way he thinks and the way he acts and the way he I guess you could say the way he conducts himself with others. And Bill himself, Bill Beichel, is interviewed as well. And it's not just a short little, some of them are, but most of them are long interviews, like crazy long. Frank Santoro, not commercial long, but long enough, Frank Santoro goes on and on about Persepolis and Pompeii and why he put the con together and how he thinks, how he approaches the page. Where you can tell where some people don't give a crap about blocking it out, and Frank is the exact opposite, where we won't touch Pittsburgh. He won't touch a page whether before he blocks it out, and it's like I didn't notice it at first. I did, but I just thought it's the way he likes to work. But he is adamant about blocking out. Like, if it doesn't work on the grid format, it doesn't work. And I'm like, no one knows. Just do it. But no, he won't just do it. He has to block everything out. And it's like crazy to me how some people approach comics, whether he is of the opinion that you could tell whether or not something has been blocked out. And I'm like, okay, you, yeah. But it works. Do I think that Frank Santoro is the best illustrator on the planet? No, not really.
Right, yeah.
But I think that his compositions are immaculate. So it must be working. In addition to all of these interviews, you get reviews as well. And it's not just like a 3 or 4 word review. It's blocks of text like crazy. There are points in the review section where I'm just like, okay, you convinced me to check it out. You can shut up now. But there's 2 more paragraphs to read. Uh, Flea by Mara Ramirez, Crease, art directed and edited by Austin English, which of course is Domino Books. It's crazy the amount of reviews, and everybody has sold out of Crumbs Comic. Even Fantagraphics has sold out. Do you think I'm publishing Robert Crumb in 2025? Maybe I should up my print run.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
no. Even if it is batshit crazy, uh, you know, uh,
You got to
there's
remember, though. I mean, all these companies are still. I mean, they're all still smarting from the diamond fiasco. I mean, I think a lot of them are pretty tight with their cash flow right now. I mean, Fana was very public, right? They did that fundraiser effort. I mean, they, along with a lot of other publishers, are really hurting financially until they can get their cash flow back. So, I would imagine they have to be pretty judicious about not having excess inventory.
I'm glad you mentioned Fantagraphics because Gary Croft is closing down the comic journal, the print publication. He's
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the print publication as a bottomless pit of sucking the resources out of Fantagraphics, and I, I think we're not getting any more print comic journal. Oddly enough, he sees the online comic journal as being different from the print version, and
Hmm.
and it is, but it's not. Like, how many people come to the Fantagraphics site for the comic journal? Like, that's what they do. But
Right.
obviously, Gary thinks it's 2 separate entities.
Hmm.
Okay. Again, like Jason says, you do you. But, and if that wasn't enough, wasn't, you get incidental announcements, which are not advertisements, I would say, because they weren't paid for. And the editor specifically says these are not paid for, so these don't count. I'm not advertising, but I think you should either check these out or when they do come out, pick them up because they're really good. And again, not just one page, page after page after page of incidental announcements, like crazy amount of information for $8. Where else are you gonna read this? Who?
You're right.
I don't think it's been documented to this extent in places like that comic journal or the Beat or you name it, where he's providing a very very valuable service by documenting this work. It may connect with you on some level. It may totally not be your thing, but the fact that someone out there is documenting it, and you get everything for $8.
Wow.
Am I the only one enamored with this? Like,
No.
if you're looking for a glossy, a phonographic style zine, look elsewhere. If information is your the a lot of the interviews talk about Joe Matt, who left too soon. If you're reading it for the information, then you could do a hell of a lot worse than $8 for 100+ pages. Comics Blogger, number 15, $8. What?
$8 make you holla.
Yeah, that's my real. What? $8 for all this information? Like what?
What?
It's crazy to me. Looking at it as a production aspect, it probably cost about high end $2 an issue, right? And he's making $6 on it, which I think is a fair price to pay for all this information. Yeah, crazy. Comics Blogger, check it out. Again, I don't think there's been an episode since I came back that I haven't mentioned Copacetic Comics, but I got my copy through Copacetic.
Yay.
So I didn't pay $8. Get it before it sells out, because I don't know where you're gonna get it if you don't go pathetic.
Man, oh man.
Comics Blogger. If you love any comics, you gotta be reading this.
I gotta find it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep. So, yeah.
So, there was another first issue that I decided to try. It came out a couple months ago because the fourth issue, I think, came out this week. It's published by Dark Horse. And I guess the cover of the fourth issue made me want to track down and see how it starts. But it's written by Dan Houser, who's also credited as the creator. Producer and additional writing, Lazlow. Story layouts and pencils, sorry Jason, David Lapham. And colors by Lee Loughridge. This is called, and finishes by Chris Anderson. So yay, which is why this book, the pages in this book, don't really.
Wait, so Lapham pencils it and Chris finishes it?
Yes.
That's weird.
Giving it a unique, almost to a degree of like a Mort Drucker, Angelo Torres kind of vibe. So it doesn't look anything like Stray Bullets. It doesn't look like Good is Dead. It doesn't look like anything we're used to seeing from Lapham. So there is definitely Anderson here, and because if I were to just look at this, I wouldn't say really that this is Lapham's work. Looking at it in its entirety, it's called American Caper, and it is. I don't want to say it's weird, but there's there are
not to spoil it.
No. I won't spoil. Because I only read the first issue, even though I have the other three. I've only read the first issue, but it's basically a narrated story. We meet the first guy. Who is he's an attorney. He's a lawyer in Verona, Wyoming, and he doesn't really love his life. He the Hamiltons, his family, there's him, his wife, his son, and his daughter. And his wife absolutely seems to hate him, and she seems to be full blown MAGA, for lack of a better term. She's in the chat room. She's on her laptop. She's calling people libtards. She's calling this, that, and the other. So she's all in. She's drinking the Kool-Aid. She hates. She goes to like sleep with like her flak jacket on and like complete like ammo gear and shit. Yeah. He's a gambler. He's lost his money. He's lost money multiple times. His son pretty much doesn't even think. He looks past dad. Like couldn't care less if dad exists. His daughter, who is going to college in Brooklyn, she's got the green hair, the shaved head on the sides, and the unshaved armpits, and she's just all about the protests and death to power and all that. His neighbors are the Charmers. They're Mormons. So my man seems to have a hard-on, literally, for Mrs. Chalmers. He is ogling dude's wife every chance he gets. He's having conversations with him while staring at her chest. And they've got like 6 kids. All she does is like pump out the kids. But everybody's got some dark secrets. And Mr. Hamilton here, his law firm, and they have locations. They have offices in New York, Tampa, Miami, Jackson Hole, Verona, Reno. So they're all over the place, and all they do is they try to hide money and cheat people and get around all these loopholes. And he's kind of just going through the motions. However, his neighbor's done some shit, and it's kind of coming back to bite him in the ass. So nobody's what they seem on the surface. Everybody's got some dark shit behind them, behind their eyes, going on in their life, and it's just, there really aren't too many likable people in this book. But I'm kind of just sucked into it because now, after one issue, I'm kind of invested. I want to see what happens with these people. I want to see if any of them get their comeuppance, if they get out alive. There's blackmail. There's wild shit. There's this dude, Marty Blowman, who moved into town. He's a typical transplant. He's a Wall Street bozo who thinks he's a cowboy. He invests in dubious food and drug research to keep America not so well. He's got like some sugar substitute that's supposed to make people lose weight, but it's giving cancer to rats. And my man, Hamilton's boss back in New York, is like, yes, you're not a rat though, so you don't have to worry about it. You're not a rat. We have to word it so that as long as you're not a rat, you're not going to get cancer. And it's like, I can't believe I can, but it's wild that people like this fucking exist in the world. There's this dude, Richard Chancery, who's a general who fucked up in Iraq and accidentally killed too many civilians. And all he does now is he goes around and he looks for people who like review his book. Because he wrote a book that nobody gives a fuck about, and suing anyone who suggests his strategies in Iraq were flawed. So he's on the phone yelling at people. He's like, no, you're a liar. Only 11 children died, not the 13 that you claim. So I'll see you in court. There's a land developer who's Brayton Jennings, and he's just kind of going around. He's a country club developer, specializes in taking pristine wilderness and destroying it entirely because he's trying to build his next golf club. There's the Hamilton will play dress up, and instead of like Civil War reenactments, they're like going around and pretending like to be old Western, like it's Deadwood. And it's just, like I said, it's wild. The art's great. There's a van that comes barreling through, crashes into a tree between the Hamiltons and the Chalmers houses. And all of a sudden a bunch of undocumented immigrants come running out of the van, and they scatter. And now we get some backstory on how the van crashed into the tree in the yard, and which basically just seemed random. Like all of a sudden, like we get this interlude of a bunch of dudes who stole a van because it was the first vehicle that came down the road. They stole this van without knowing that there were, well, basically hostages now in the back of the van. So they're driving down, and someone's speaking in Spanish. I got to go to the bathroom, and he's like, "Well, piss in the bottle. That's why the bottle's back there." And I'm not going to explain how they end up crashing, but it's a weird book. And we meet Charmer's boss. His name is Aaron Olds, and I'm not going to say what he has Charmer do, but it's not pretty. It's crazy. Some of it is there's these like little one-page ad. There's a one-page ad in the first issue. It's for the type of grill that Charmer has, because he keeps talking to Hamilton about how great this grill is, and it makes even his cooking come out good. And so there's an ad for that. In the second issue, I think there was an ad for a casino that Hamilton stops at, even though he's supposed to stop gambling. It's crazy. I don't know. There was some back matter that I didn't read yet, as far as like how Hauser came up with the idea and what came to mind. But yeah, this came out last. It started, I think, like November or something like that. So yeah, so we've got 4 issues so far. I don't know if it's a 4-issue miniseries, but yeah, that's what we got so far. It's crazy. I had way more fun with this than I thought I would. I did not think, based on these characters, that this was something that I'd be into. But yeah, I think the concept is wild. I mean, these are people that actually exist, and I know people like this are out there. But it's not necessarily something that I think people would like run to check out. But I gotta say, the art is what it's got me coming back for the next issue, because I didn't know I needed Chris Anderson on top of David Lapham, but it fucking works. It really looks good. It's just, and every panel is pretty much like, there's so much going on in every panel. There's, whether it's backgrounds, whether it's vehicles, homes, the forest, it's just like nobody's phoning anything in with this. There's no, unlike another book that I might mention because I wasn't really feeling it. There's no John Byrne backgrounds in this. Everything is just completely filled in. It's packed cover to cover, and just seeing everybody tell their story about why they are the way they are and how they got here. It's real interesting watching it all kind of play out. There's flashbacks that kind of just get thrown in order to get everybody up to speed. I'm really, really surprised that I kind of just read this first issue and it clicked, and now like I need more. And I really didn't even know this fucking thing existed until this week, just because I glanced at the 4th issue cover. So you never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, as far as the first issue goes, this one hooked me. I would recommend it. And it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, depending on what you like, I think this is something that I think people would kick back and kind of just have fun reading. It's weird. It's not your typical David Lapham book. I mean, he's not writing it, but yeah, it's pretty funky. So yeah, from Dark Horse, Absurd Ventures presents American Caper, and yeah, I'm once we're done with this tonight, I'll probably get back to the 2nd issue and keep reading.
You used the car crash metaphor a bunch of times, and I think that's apt. It's like a car crash. You want to see, like, wait a minute. I admit that it's heavy-handed. A lot of the stuff is so far beyond the point of propriety that's like, wait a minute. You're taking a character and you're making a pastiche out of them. No. these people exist. Like, there are people in the world that act like the wife or the daughter. And it's like, where can this book go?
Yeah.
How dark can it get? Like, again, it wasn't immediately apparent to me that it was Lapham because it looks so different that once you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, okay.
There's
It's
one
David
panel in
Lapham.
particular with
Yeah.
his wife hunched over the laptop and she's like stuffing her face. And that's a Lapham face. And there is, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously Anderson adds a little bit to it. But I mean, the panels above and below it aren't really a lot. There's not a lot of Lapham in there. But yeah, that
Right,
panel with the
right.
wife is. But you're right. Yeah. It's, if you squint, you can definitely find it. But just glancing at it or just kind of skimming through it or going through the pages, he's kind of hidden.
It's kind of exhausting. I do not recommend reading more than one issue at a time because it's that far beyond the normal stuff out there. But I think that's valuable. I think it's important that the book like this exists where it's not afraid to push boundaries. It's not afraid to make you turn up a nose at the squeamishness of it all because, like I said, or like you said, there are people out there who do this and worse. You know that I think it fits in well with the Lapham catalog because in a lot of respects it is like real bullets where the depths of the human soul are plumbed, and I think it's important that this book exists.
Yes.
That I'm surprised that Dark Horse is publishing it,
Yeah.
but then again, I'm not surprised. If it came out through Image, I would assume that a number of changes would have been requested, but Mike seems to be willing to.
Image has no editorial control. Image is of all the publishers. Image wouldn't have any. That's no, that's not true. Other than Skybound, Image has no. They don't even have editors that work for them. That's
Well,
an Image book can be whatever it wants. They don't put any creative control on an Image book once it's approved.
it doesn't feel like an Image book.
Well, that's a different statement. I'm just saying it
Yeah.
wouldn't be because the Image would insist on it being different.
It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's boundary pushing to the extreme. If there's a word for that. Where I think that I'm glad that someone is publishing this the way it was intended to be published. That I'm a little bit farther down the line than Dap, so I know what happens.
Oh, okay.
I still have issue 4 to read.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's a 4-issue miniseries or 5 or whatever it is. But yeah, it's rough. it's hard to read. Yeah, and it surprises me that you're reading it.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in well with what you choose to read. But
You're right.
I'm glad you're reading it.
Look at me. I'm growing up. I'm expanding my
Yeah,
horizons.
all grown up.
It's like I like Mike Allred all of a sudden.
Well, yeah. What else?
What you got, Boo?
We still have time.
Is he on mute?
I know.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
He did say boo. So that's you.
Oh, I didn't hear the boo part. I guess
Yes.
you were talking over each other. Well, probably the most interesting thing I read this week, and I say interesting because I can't say that I loved everything about it, but I loved parts of it. But I'm glad I read it because it's definitely another book that I think is challenging, and I'm glad that a book like this exists because it's different than a lot of other things that are out there for people. Is published by Drawn and Quarterly. It's called The Woodchipper. It's written and drawn by Joe Ollmann, and it's a single creator anthology. It's 5 short. Well, they're not that short, but it's 5 stories in a collected, soft cover collection. They're all original to this. It's not like it's reprints from other stuff. It's 5 new stories from him. And the central theme is anxiety. There are 5 stories about anxiety. So, that's an important thing to know going in because, needless to say, the world is resplendent with reasons to be anxious, or frustrated, or nervous, or worried. And so, if you are someone who can't read or take in TV or movies about that kind of stuff, if you're feeling anxious in general, then this isn't your book for you. Like, this is definitely not like this will only add to that because these stories are pretty much like, I wouldn't say they're like Twilight Zone stories, but they're like tales of they're tales of normal people, like just average people living doing relatively average things, where just like something awful happens, like and they have to deal with it. And some of the stories are treated with some humor. Others are more straightforward. So again, I wouldn't necessarily characterize this book like from a mood. I don't know that like it's not like centrally a comedic book or centrally a dramatic book. I think it's each story's on its own there. Kudos to him for taking that approach. But I think like with any, as we probably said 1,000 times over the years, like with any anthology, you get a mixed. It's generally a mixed bag, right? Not every story is going to grab any individual reader in the same way. And I would imagine if 10 people have read this listening, each one may have a different favorite story of the 5. Or 2 of, I guess each one couldn't have their favorite story. You get my point, though. Each one, like, there would be a mix of people and what stories touch them. But for me, the first of the 5, which is also the titular story, the Woodchipper, and then the second were the 2 strongest. So I, like, from a sequencing perspective, I wish that it kind of had been reversed. Because I don't think the 3rd, 4th, and 5th stories are bad by any stretch, but I was so smitten by the first 2 that since the other 3 didn't hit as much, it kind of like, it's like you go out with that last note. So I would rather have gone on a high note. Like, I think if the Woodchipper was the 5th and final story in the book,
Yeah.
I'd probably be coming in with like a little bit more of a like just pure overt praise for the book. But overall, it's well executed. I mean, his cartooning style is interesting. It's he's been around. Ollmann's been around a long time. Contributed a lot of stuff to all measure of anthologies, and he's done a bunch of stuff through D&Q over the years and a bunch of syndicated stuff. So he's he's been around. I've seen some of his work in anthologies over the years, personally, but like his style is he credits Mad Magazine as his, I guess, like many people our age, like as kind of one of the formative things that got him interested in cartooning and storytelling. He also, of course, is given the type of comics he makes, he credits Pete Bagg as as an inspiration and the like. So visually, I would say he's he's like there is like a in the way that he does panel layouts and illustrates like the like action sequences and stuff. It is very evocative to me of like Aragonus, but not but I don't want people to like picture in their head that like the work here looks like Sergio Aragonus. I just mean like in the just like the way that he composes pages and the way he draws anatomy and stuff. But there's definitely like there's a pastiche there, but but it's kind of like if Aragonés had a love child with Chester Brown in a weird way. But I enjoy the cartooning very much. And like I said, the stories are they are very much evocative of like he hits the he hits the assignment. Like each story makes you anxious because of the shit that goes on. And again, I won't talk about each of the five, but I will say that the title story, The Woodchipper, is really fascinating. It's about a guy who's probably like in his late 40s, early 50s. Regular Joe, he works for the town's maintenance department, you know, just doing different projects all over town. He's been doing the job for I think 17 years. Loves the job, loves like that he gets to do different things every day. He's generally like he's not in a great marriage, but he loves his wife. He doesn't make a lot of money, but he makes a good enough living. He's just satisfied with his life generally. And he just has this moment where they're working on some projects and they get a new guy as part of the crew. And the guy's just, he's well-intentioned, but he's just a dumbass kid. Like, he's just dumb as a rock. And the protagonist takes the kid under his wing because the rest of the crew is just mercilessly teasing the kid, calling him stupid, playing practical jokes on him, like just being mean to him, like bullying him. And he feels bad for the kid. So he tries to look out for him. And unfortunately, the kid is just dumb as a rock. So like he just doesn't ever, like he doesn't learn his lessons. He doesn't improve. He keeps making the same mistakes. And there's a point one day where they're working on like cutting down like tree branches and stuff over power lines, right? And there's an incident where nearly, like the protagonist nearly could have killed the kid because the kid was underneath him while he was cutting branches and shouldn't have been, right? Now nothing happens, like it doesn't, like the kid's fine. But it gets into the protagonist's head how close he came to killing someone else. Because it really was like, but for, you know, an inch difference or like, you know, a couple seconds difference, like he would have killed the kid. And he can't escape the dread of that. Like he just cannot, even though nothing happened, he can't get past it. Like he keeps thinking, but it was so close. I was so close to killing this kid. And he just descends, you know, he just totally descends from that. Like he gets in his head, he can't go back to work because every time he goes, he starts seeing visions of like him killing somebody or something going wrong with their equipment, and it just totally like is a mind worm. It destroys his marriage, it destroys his career, and it just like descends. And it was just like that's pretty much like how the story ends. Like it's years later, and he's kind of telling this all from a future voice as a, you know, as things from the past, and he's moved on with his life now. But his life is like, I don't want to say tragic, but he's basically lives in an apartment. A tiny apartment by himself, doing odd jobs for a landscaping company, collecting on his pension because it was a union job that they did an early buyout for him. And it was just like I was like, oh man, like it just was a fascinating look at a really mundane dude living a mundane life, but somehow Ollmann makes it fascinating by adding this element of like this mind worm. And yeah, so like I said, that story really hit me, and I thought we were off to the races. Like, I thought reading that one, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, this is going to be, you know, O'Closkers. I'm going to come in, I'm going to glaze this up, I'm going to tell everybody to go buy it. But like I said, I think that is, the title story is far and away, to me, the best of the five. And so, you know, I give this a thumbs up, but I don't think, like, it's a priority in the sense that I don't think the totality of it equals the greatness of the title story. So one thumb up for The Woodchipper by Joel Ollmann. So there you have it.
Well, one thumb is not bad.
No. Again, I enjoyed it. Like, I don't feel like money well spent. Again, the cartooning is good. I think it's a well designed book. It hits every story does induce anxiety. But again, maybe it's just a sequencing thing. Maybe it's just, I don't know. You know, for me, like with an anthology, if you give me like a better than 50% hit rate, I'm usually cool with it. So if 3 of the 5 stories hit, then I feel like it's a win, and I say that this passed that test. But yeah, I wish that I loved 3 of the 5 instead of just like I loved 1, I really liked 1, pretty mid. So
well, it is an anthology. And like what I would say, you know, Some anthologies work start to finish, and some peter out.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. This is the strangest thing I've read this week. That is saying a lot. Um, Last week I chided kinda Scott Snyder for not having an end to his Justice League run that wasn't published in another form. uh, this is kind of the same thing. It's a manga published by Dark Horse with art by Studio Gaga, and they obviously they list the artists involved. I won't bore you with the details, but suffice to say that they all draw like Kentaro Miura, because he was a producer of this thing. He conceived it, he conceptualized it, he produced it, and it exists, but it's unfinished. Now, whether it's coming to Netflix or whether it exists solely in this manga is I can't say, but like the work of Scott Snyder, at least as far as the Justice League is concerned, there's no ending. It it it, yeah. It's called Dur-An-Ki, and there are hyphens uh, interspersed within the Dur hyphen and hyphen key hyphen, and that's not where the weirdness ends. You would think that uh, a manga that doesn't end would not be compelling, but it is. Uh, it's very very weird that the chief protagonist is a being, and I'm being very coy when I say being, because the the lead in the manga is neither male nor female. Uh, it could be construed that they are both, because there are certain panels that are drawn in a way that suggests that this being has a yeagle, and there are certain panels that suggest that this being is a girl. But suffice to say that the being's name is Usumgal, created by Poseidon out of clay. So it smacks of Wonder Woman in a certain sense. That Usum means the only one, Gal means great. In its entirety, and I'm reading from the text, in case you didn't know. Usungal means dragon, and the Usungal is extremely, ridiculously beautiful. But androgyny is the claim to fame of this book, where you can't tell whether Usungal is male or female. So it works as intended. Usungal hangs around the Pan. Yes, that Pan, whose foliage can command beasts of the wild. Gal was created by the gods and lives an idyllic existence on Mount Nihan. Now, if you do your homework, you know that Mount Nihan is protected by the gods because of Noah and his ark, where there are a married couple, grandfather and grandmother, who bestow their knowledge upon Usungal. So you get a little bit of Superman, a little bit of Wonder Woman. Yeah, it's, but it doesn't, like, I could go through and tell you the details, but it doesn't matter. I shouldn't say that. It does matter, but it doesn't matter in the sense that it doesn't end. Where Usungal makes crossbows because they are too weak to pull the crossbow wire, that they know inherently, they just know that the legs are stronger than the arms. So they end up making a foot controlled crossbow on its necessity. And, excuse me, Usungal eventually meets a tribe of males from a local village and makes them all crossbows. Where, not having known one of the members of the tribe of males is the prince of the local community. And the prince gains notoriety having killed a boar and wolves and a bear, and interspersed you get the gods, which have an active role in seeing that Usungal prospers. It's weird. It's strange, and like I said, it doesn't. The last panel ends on a cliffhanger. What? What's happening? It has a ton of back matter. Jason would absolutely hate the amount of back matter in this book, because I would say that it's at least 70% of the manga, where it's very, very different than the printed page and what Miura intended it to be. You get a lot more of the interaction between the gods in the way he intended it to be, where Issue-O-Rama's clearly female. You cannot tell that Issue-O-Rama is female in the manga proper, and I think that's better. You get some panels where clearly, you know, it's a boy, and you get some panels where clearly it's a girl, and the prince doesn't care. As far as she's concerned, they're the most beautiful thing that he's ever seen, and I'm cool with that because it works for me. Um, Whether you know, you're into the Poseidon and Heracles and the back banner is chunky. Odysseus, Hippolyta. Uh, you can read the back. The back banner will take you at least hours and hours and hours to read. No, I'm not kidding.
I believe you.
It's crazy. You get the Greek side, you get the Trojan side, whether it's Poseidon or Hera or Athena or Apollo or Ares, Artemis. Like it's crazy. It's not berserk. It's not explicit at all. There are no erect penises. It's a matter of almost kind of sorta that the penis is there. Kind of sorta not. It's just strange. Uh, Dur-An-Ki. It's unlike anything you will read. I live my life online. It's unlike anything you will read this or any other week. It's just a strange, weird. Was it fulfilling? Yes, because it ends on a fairly optimistic. It ends in quotes. The denouement is fairly optimistic. Where the prince, well, I wouldn't even say it, but there's nothing to spoil because it doesn't end. It was worthwhile reading it though, because the front banner it's all manga. The back banner is mostly text interspersed with Miura's pencil drawings. Studio Gaga, they all draw like Miura, so it could be either or. It's weird. It's strange. It's odd. It's yeah. It's refreshing. Whether or not it's gonna end up on Netflix is beyond me. I don't see it ending up on Netflix because it's not done. It's not finished. It's strange. It's weird, but ultimately it's worth reading. Dur-An-Ki by Studio Gaga, working on the auspices of Kentaro Miura, but it's not Berserk. So if you're looking for torture porn, and it's not that. It's not.
Hey, the previews on the Dark Horse site look great.
Oh, the artwork is beautiful. It's astoundingly beautiful. The artwork. Like I said, it's tough to tell that Miura didn't work on, other than spearheading the story, but everyone under his employ draws like he does. So it does look like he did it. It's weird. Dur-An-Ki.
Dur-An-Ki.
Yeah. Nah, I know Jason's gonna run right out and get it. You also you get a double-sided poster as well.
Oh shit!
There's there's a fold-out double tankobon size. So
Yeah.
you get a 2 pages double-sided. It's weird. It's a strange little book, but it if there was something I read this week that made me take a step back and say, "What the hell did I just read?" It would be Dur-An-Ki.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you want to take it home?
I think there's one more number one Jason and I can tag team on. Unless you're saving that for your in your travels.
No, please, no, nope. Good.
So the wonderful creative team of Peacemaker Tries Hard, that being of course Kyle Starks and Steve Pugh, have the second Vertigo book of this new Vertigo relaunch, End of Life. And it looks great. That's redundant because it's Steve's art, and it's funny in spots. The conceit is basically Eddie Stein is a hitman. He realizes he fucked up. He's got to get out of Dodge. Basically, he goes home, and kind of we see things from his past along the way that kind of explain why he is the way he is. And I say that because as much as I love this creative team, I'm going to give it another issue because I don't know. I understand we're probably going to see some growth, but I don't necessarily. Eddie Stein is really not a character I can kind of get behind, and it's he's an idiot, and he's not a smart dude, and he's good at what he does, and that's fine. But a book about him, where I just get to read him continue him being an idiot, I don't know if that's really something I'm cool with, and that's a me thing. I'm sure. I hope this book does well. I hope people are loving it. I will say, I mean, since we talked about Bleeding Hearts last week, I did like this more than that. And at first I was fine with until about the halfway mark or something like that. I was just like, this is just dumb, and reading a story about this idiot, who at times kind of falls backwards into doing the right thing. He's oblivious. He's ignorant. He's just not obvious. I mean, he's a killer, so he's not a nice dude, but he's a moron, and it's hard for me to kind of just really root for the dude who's an absolute moron to this degree. So I'm not trying to pan this book. I'm not trying to crap on it, because again, I love the Peacemaker story. I'm here for this because of Kyle and Steve. So I trust them. But like I said, if things don't, and I'm not expecting them to, I'm not, the character's not going to do a fucking 180 by the next issue. But considering his childhood bestie, Sophie, who's on the cover, and we really don't see as an adult until like the last page. Maybe she can kind of smooth things over for me. But yeah, I liked it. But I don't love it. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I do find it interesting though that like you cite the characters sort of being a kind of a like not being someone you can root for is being the turnoff for you because like how is this guy different from Simon Pure, which you love, Redcoat? Like he's like to me they're the same character, like just in a different setting. Like Simon Pure is not a modern day assassin, but like they're both like morally ambiguous kind of bumblers who like happen their way through like success.
No, and that's fair. I mean, Simon may be a rapscallion, but he does. I mean, he I don't see like so Simon, when we were introduced to the Northerner, it may have been begrudgingly at first, but he wanted to help that little girl. He wanted to make sure she got somewhere safe. I don't see Eddie helping a child cross the street if it means he's got to wait a few extra minutes for something. It's just I get what you're saying. But I don't necessarily see them as the same type of character.
Okay, yeah. I mean, just because like he obviously rescues the woman and her son in the convenience store.
Yes.
Like I'm with you. Look, I mean, it's a minor point. I just surprised that like because it immediately came to mind because when I was reading the book, I thought, oh, this is Simon Pure if he was an assassin. But that said, yeah, no, I'm generally with you though. I unfortunately, and again, it's way too early to say this, but it feels to me like this is yet another Vertigo relaunch that probably shouldn't have happened. Like, I think we maybe need to accept that Vertigo was of its time and was, in for all intents and purposes, the thing it was because of Karen Berger's driving force, and Karen's not there anymore, and I don't know that Vertigo means much of anything anymore, and I think we're over 2 for me. I just don't like this book did absolutely nothing for me. And again, as you noted, I think 99 times out of 100 I enjoy Kyle's writing. I think that I think Steve is a very, very, very competent illustrator. I just there's no interest. I'm one and done. So
Okay.
just don't have much to say about it. I thought it was pretty. Like I just thought it was like kind of how Vince started, where he thought that there were some derivative things about Hippopotamus. To me, this just felt derivative in every way. Like I was like, oh, okay, we got the morally ambiguous lead character who kind of, like just somehow meanders through success, even at his own, nearly at his own expense. We've got like it's just I didn't have any tether here that made me think, okay, I want to see what's next. I was like, okay, I closed the book and I was like, well, there's like no component to this, whether it's the plot or the setup or the cliffhanger or the character, that I thought, oh, I'm intrigued to know more. Like I want to unravel this more. So yeah, I mean, I look forward to the 3rd issue of Wrestle Heist.
Yes, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah. So, again, no disrespect. I mean, both of these gentlemen are highly accomplished and competent creators, but sometimes things just don't click. So,
Well, you were right that we kicked off with your favorite and best number 1 of the week. So no lies detected.
Yeah, Listen, comics are a hard game, man. Like you got to go out there and try and. I mean, you got to put yourself out there. You got to. I mean, I give all these people credit, right? They all are, I think, trying to do their best work, and I like you said, I sincerely hope that these are all smash hits and that lots of people read them and love them. I mean, I want every comic to succeed. I want all these guys to make great livings and have long careers. Like genuinely, I'm not rooting against anything, but. Even we, as obsessive compulsive as we are, have limited time read comics, and so there's just too many of them out there for me to like read something that in hopes that it gets better. It doesn't if it doesn't
For
connect.
Sure. Yep.
Peace out, right? So
I hear you.
Unless it's an X-Men comic, and then I'm absolutely need to see a psychiatrist because I can't stop reading these horrible X-Men comics. But at least I don't bring them to the show and talk about them. But I am still reading them for some reason because I've seen
God
about that. Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Not a glowing review, but
Well, that's why we're still out here on your travels. We're good.
Yeah.
truth. It was true, which is better than the glowing review. We can spot lies and untruths till we're blue in the face. But for the most part, if an issue isn't good, it's not good.
Right.
Listen, we're not Jim Seguin. You know what I mean? We got to keep it real.
Right. All right. Okay.
Let's throw it back.
Please leave us a review wherever you listen to this, whether it's a star system or a text-based system or both. Leave us a review because it's important as far as the algorithm goes, and the algorithm is king. So do that. Check out a Patreon. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. You can tell I'm getting tired. Whether they're $5 or $10, we only have two tiers. It's simple. It's easy. It would behoove you because I'm on the precipice, the edge of dumb cat, of releasing multi hours of audio, and what that does already. So check us out. And third, but not the least of which, is support the sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com. cheapgraphicnovels.com. Everything you need to know is right there. In your travels, I am consumed by love for this creator. I don't profess to be extremely knowledgeable in this creator, having stumbled upon their work only recently. But I've bought everything I can to get up to snuff, and everything I read, I love. it's beyond the point of love. I'm consumed by admiration from this creator. He is he lives and works out of Delhi. His name is Anand Shenoy, and publishes an anthology comic called Zoo. Z-O-O. Zoo. The fifth issue of which recently came out is, I would say it's 11 by 17. And it's one of the strongest comparison I can make is of Love and Rockets. It smacks of early Love and Rockets issues. Now, it doesn't look like Love and Rockets, but it feels like it. In Zoo number 5, it contains 3 stories. Nancy's sister-in-law, a 4-year story, Vulture, and One Foot in the Grave, where obviously it's an anthology, but the issue itself comes as a free 32-page comic of smaller stature. It's about digest size, called Foreigners, where there's a character that is in this anthology, and his name is Foreigners because he wears his hair like he has 4 ears. Like, what? The character is depicted in blue on the cover, and the character's brother is depicted as blue. Where he puts his hair up in ear-like protrusions from his head. His brother does as well, as does his father and his mother. Like, what's happening here? They don't. Anand does not give you a reasoning. Like, sometimes the brother will wear his hair in the 4 ears mode, but most of the time he doesn't. But 4 ears does, and the free 32-page zine gives you a reprint of Zoo number 2, I believe, where it gives you a more fleshed out view of Foreigners, but it doesn't tell you why he wears his hair the way he does. Why does the family wear their hair the way they do? It's strange, but I am consumed with love for this creator because, and this is a me thing. Dap is fond of telling you that it's entirely dependent on who I am as a person, not intended by the creator. That the paper on which the Zoo anthology is printed is so, it is thin to the point where it looks like the content of the comic is happening at the same time. Again, not intended by the producer of the comic, but if I can see the page following, it's as if the work is happening at the same time, meaning that time is non-linear within the Zooniverse, where all of the events are happening concurrently. Again, it's a me thing. It's not intended by the producer, but it feels that way. And it's in Zooniverse 5, the 4 years on the fall of the Cobra Gang. So you get 3 ne'er-do-wells who make 4 years go to a porno. And their brother shows up at the porno. And it's like, you need to increase your your cultural consummation because this is high art. It's like, no, it's not. It's a porno. um, and I won't spoil it at all, but you really need to read this because I think Anand is amazing. He is an amazing creator. The anthology, uh, not only does um, it includes a story of warriors, it includes a story called Vulture, where a guy finds I guess they were hidden, but not very well, of notebooks with sequential art within them. And the art tells a story, and the art becomes wildly popular because the protagonist reproduces said art within the boundaries of what he's experienced. So it's somebody else's life, but filtered through the lens of the protagonist. And he's eventually becomes wildly popular, like extremely so. And he's living high on the hog, and he gets the money to move out of the apartment, but he refuses to do so because he keeps finding these sketchbooks and eventually releases a a 200 plus page graphic novel that is someone else's life filtered through his experience, and it does extremely well, but it's not his life. And I won't spoil it. Again, that's not my aim. My aim is for you to read it because I think like this creator is gonna be the next big thing. His name is Anand, Anadn, Nd, Anand, and the anthology is called Zoo. It is absolutely amazing. I read Number 5 first, which is dumb. I agree. But you get the free reprint of a past 4 years story. I also bought the Tales from the Zoo collection, which includes issue 1 to 3. So I still need number 4, and no one has it. No one has it. It's maddening. Copacetic doesn't have it. Domino doesn't have it. Like, I can't find the thing anywhere. So if you have a line on Zoo number 4, please, please let me know. I will buy a second. Like I said, I am. It's beyond the point of infatuation. I love this creative work, which was scratchy at first. There's more texture in the early issues. Zone number 5 is, I don't want to call it polished because it's not. It's done in a very clean line, but it's done matter of factly, where it's thrown down what looks like effortlessly. Obviously, it's not. But oh my God, I just love his work. So Anand, Zoo, number 5, and Children's the Zoo. And if you have a lead on issue 4, let me know. Please let me
Why
know.
don't you send Anand an email and see if he's got any, see if they have any, and how much shipping might be. Because if you go to
I
the Bubble
found-
site, because I was looking at number 5, because it's sold out, unfortunately. But it says if you're outside of the U.S. and Canada, email Anand, because it might be cheaper to get it shipped from India. But if no one else has it, and even if shipping's a little bit more, you'll still end up with it.
Even Bubbles doesn't have it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's crazy that issue 4 is the outlier of this thing. I wouldn't you have like all of the issues ready to buy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anand, Zoo, it's essential reading. I'm sure it's not the last time you're going to hear about it.
Well, this is good because I am I'm in the middle of fighting back an attack. So I'm not going to speak for long, especially since Jason already talked about this book, and I can't find the episode you did speak on it, Jason. But this is from Jordi Lafebre. It is I Am Their Silence, originally published by Europe Comics. Dark Horse right now is putting it out. So it's available from them, from Cheap Graphic Novels. It's a fun little mystery. The heroine of the tale, Eva, is a psychiatrist, and one of her patients contacts her because there's going to be a there's going to be a reading of the will, and she wants Ava to meet the family and kind of just get to know everybody. And unfortunately, there's a murder. There's a dead body that ends up in the home, and Eva decides to solve this mystery, much to the chagrin of the local stabulatory, because you're not a cop. But while she's doing it, basically the story takes place kind of like in flashbacks, because she is telling the story to her psychiatrist, to somebody that she needs to speak with. Not necessarily her psychiatrist, but somebody who she's been directed to speak with, to see if she is in her right mind to continue doing what she does. But and along the way, we find out a little bit about Ava's past, the women in her life who still kind of guide her. But of course, the highlight is Jordi's wonderful art. It's a beautiful looking book. If you picked up Always Never after Jason and I talked about it, you're used to this style. It's a different story than that, but it is still extremely well done. Almost most pages have 6 panels. Some go a little more, some a little less, but yeah, it's a beautiful looking book. Ava is sexy. The family, the vintners who have this wealth and this land that he was pretty much berating at times, hounding for to get information. They're not exactly her fans, but she's relentless and persistent, and she also is doing this for her patient. She wants to make sure that this young lady is taken care of, and obviously Penelope is very she's kind of distraught. She has no idea what the hell's going on with the family, and it was a fun ride. I absolutely had a blast reading this, and again, not to belabor the point, but it was made way easy because of Jordi's line. But yes, if you haven't checked it out yet, in your travels, I Am Your Silence by Jordi Lafebre and published right now by Dark Horse.
Yeah, love to hear you re-recommending this. This book reminded me a lot of like a Rian Johnson film turned into a comic when it came out. Yeah, it's that same kind of vibe. Yeah, Lefebvre is great, and I always credit to Mark Laming anytime we talk about Jordi, because he's the one that put me on to Jordi years ago by saying it was his favorite comic illustrator in the world. So, in your travels, I said a few weeks ago when we were talking about a couple books that for the first time ever, I was feeling weird about the fact that I wasn't like loving all of Jeff Lemire's output, because obviously he's been someone I've wholeheartedly and enthusiastically supported pretty much across the board for his entire career. I guess most notably at the time, I think we were talking about Phantom Road and JSA. So I had to get the Cosmic Forces back in line, and so I caught up finally. I've been letting them stack up, but I caught up on Minor Arcana, which I talked about the first arc when it came out. Now we're up through issue 14, which is the penultimate issue of the third arc. The third arc wraps up with issue 15. But this is the Jeff I love. This made me feel like things are right with the world. This is Jeff writing and illustrating. This is Jeff doing really fascinating, character-driven story set in a small town. Again, this is not new. This is not a new territory for Jeff. I think it's his comfort zone, but I don't know that I've ever seen a version of this kind of comic that he puts out that I haven't loved. And this is more of the same. I won't relitigate the series because I've already talked about it, but just say that as we've gone on, we learn more and more about the journey, and this arc is specifically. Teresa's starting to get really strong command of her psychic powers. She's starting to see real success with the tarot shop. Reconnecting with her mom, who finds a new love, even though she's dying of cancer. And we're introduced to some new characters that deepen the story and draw all the way back to Teresa's grandfather, who had the same powers. Recall her mom has been a fake psychic for most of her life, like a shyster, and Teresa didn't realize that because of that she in fact has real powers, as does her grandfather. And so we learn about her grandfather and his history with the town, and it's all starting to ramp with we start seeing who the forces behind the scenes that are driving some of the negative stuff that's been happening, and it all feels like it's coming to a really fascinating crescendo. So I love Jeff doing Jeff, and this is that. So in your travels, if you've been holding off on this, definitely give Minor Arcana perusal.
There you go. Nice. I think we said it all.
It's been all said and done.
Yep.
And done.
Zigonite. David.
Good night.
Gave you a little beat.
I heard that.
Yeah.
David.
I'll give you that one.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. It's what I do. We love you so much. Come back next time.
Yes.
We'll be here.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with episode 1023. Love you all.
Deuces.
That's it for that one.